Indiana basketball offered a scholarship to the number one center in the class of 2026, and now he's coming on a visit.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, and it is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen or your first watch every single day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins, so head to FanDuel.com. Well, thank you so much for being here and truly making this your go-to spot for all things Indiana. And we're going to talk some football later on in the show because On3 and one of their guys put out a post-spring top 25. We'll tell you where Indiana falls in that. Plus, so much for an easy schedule. If that's going to be a top 25, that relates to what an AP top 25 can look like. Indiana won't have a, quote, easy schedule like people said we did a year ago. But before we get to all of that, well, a guy that we talked about on the show yesterday who Indiana extended a scholarship offer to. Some people were excited. Others were, well, come talk to me when he takes a visit. Well, it's official. He's going to be taking a visit to Indiana. According to 24/7 Sports and Jeff Rabjohns, he is going to be taking a visit soon. Now, as of right now, as of us doing this, there was no official date. There's no anything like that, but it's confirmed that he will be taking a visit to Indiana, and it's Davion Adkins. And so he is the number one center in the class of 2026. And we talked about him on the show yesterday. 6'8", okay, 6'8". He is from the state of Texas. He's down from Oak Cliff. He plays at the highest level of ball down there, high school and AAU. He is ranked as the number one center in the class of 2026. He's also just a top 25 player as a whole in the class of 2026. And again, we talked yesterday about the fact that Indiana a few days ago offered him a scholarship, and here we are already with confirmation that he's going to be taking a visit. This is huge news, ladies and gentlemen. This is massive news for Indiana basketball and what could be the future of the Hoosiers on the hardwood. Because let's think about this for a second. We just got confirmation in the first day or two of May that a scholarship was extended to him. And here we are 5 or 6, not even 4 or 5 days later. We're less than a week into the month of May, and there's confirmation that he's going to be coming on a visit. That didn't take very long, did it? That didn't take a whole lot of time between, hey, let's have some calls, let's have some conversations. We'd like to offer you a scholarship to, well, we'd really like to get you on campus. And this is a two-way street. Let's remember, you can say, hey, would you like to come on a visit? Davion Adkins didn't have to say yes, but he did, and he will be taking a visit to the Hoosiers. Again, 6'8". He's in the class of 2026, weighs around 200 pounds. He is a 4-star, could become a 5-star by the end of it, ranked as the number one center in the country, the number one player in Texas, and ranked as a top 25 consensus player in the country. And I know what some of you would say, and we mentioned this yesterday, and I will say this again, 6'8", 6'8", however you want to say it, is okay as a center. You don't have to be 7 foot plus to play the center position. Now, I do think, however, because of the style that he plays, because of the skill set that he has right now, I do think that he could become a power forward by the time he gets to the college level, okay? Other schools that are involved here, Arizona State has offered him a scholarship. Kansas has offered him a scholarship, and now Indiana is in there as well. I think Houston is a part of this recruitment as well. And so you're talking big programs, big names with great coaches who are all in on Davion Adkins, and he will be taking a visit to Indiana when we have a date and things like that. As of this, there was not one. And so if there is by the time you see this or hear this, awesome. That's when he'll be here. But regardless, it's confirmation that you're getting the number one player in the state of Texas. You're getting the number one center. A top 25 kid will be stepping on the campus of Bloomington. And let's be real. In the past, the last couple of years, it's been cool. We've had big names. We've had big opportunities. We just haven't done a whole lot with it. Trent Sisley, yes, he's still coming in, and we're very happy to have him. But you understand what I'm saying. We haven't been able to stack talent like an Adkins from out of state or just in the top 50 or top 75 of recruiting classes. We haven't been able to stack them. We've gotten them on campus. We've given them a scholarship offer. They've taken official visits, but then they choose somewhere else. They go to UConn, or they go to Kentucky, or they go to Kansas, or they literally go anywhere else except Indiana. This is an opportunity to change that. And I think that's why I get so excited and am so excited about Adkins, other than just the fact that he is just raw and super talented and is going to be a stud at the next level. This is your first real chance, if you're the Hoosiers, to make a statement in the class of 2026. This is your first opportunity if you're Darren DeVries, and maybe we'll have a little Dark Knight DeVries striking with Adkins. This is your first chance to let people know you're legit. This is your first opportunity to say, Indiana basketball has been walked on. They've been looked over. They've been passed over in recruiting for the past handful of seasons. That's not the case anymore. That we're putting an end to that right here and right now. And that's the opportunity that presents itself when you get the number one center in the class, who will be taking a visit to the Hoosiers. Will you land him? Couldn't tell you. Have no idea. But you're going to get him on campus, and you then have already a pretty good reputation of getting visitors on campus and not letting them leave without a commitment. Look at the transfer portal. Most of the players that visited you, well, let me say it this way. Most of the players that are currently committed to you or have signed with you and are coming to you from the portal, they took a visit to Indiana and canceled all their other visits. Canceled them. Didn't even get on the plane to go see anybody else because they didn't want to go anywhere else after they stepped on the campus of IU, after they talked to Darren DeVries, after they walked through the walls of Assembly Hall. And sure, we have to address the elephant in the room here. The money is a factor here. I'm not going to shy away from that, and neither will Indiana. You have a chance to do that with a player in the class of 2026 in Davion Adkins. And to go back to his game and his style, I said raw, and I absolutely mean it. He is not a Big Ten basketball player yet. Not yet. He will be. He absolutely will be. He will be one of the best players in the country by the time he gets in and starts playing some Power 5 ball. He's got the handles. He's got the footwork. He's, I think, going to have the shooting down the road, but he needs to beef up a little bit. He needs to work on his back down post presence. I found some film online. You can do the same thing. Davion space, obviously, Adkins, Davion Adkins, okay? Go look him up. You can just see the ability that he has, and it's going to shine through at the next level. He's the number one center in the class of 2026. He will be visiting Indiana at some point, and my goodness, how big would that be for the Hoosiers if you could start off the Darren DeVries era, right? The high school recruiting era with a player like this who's top 25 in the class of 26. Again, according to 247, he will be taking a visit to Indiana coming up soon. All right, coming up here on Locked On Hoosiers, going to flip over to football and talk about how On3 has a top 25 according to one of their guys, and Indiana may or may not be in it, and so much for an easy schedule. That's all coming up here on Locked On Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and once it's already going. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. When big players step up in big moments. How about Steph Curry with whatever the heck was going on with his thumb? Started slow in Game 7 the other night, came alive. You had several of the Warriors players who just decided, yeah, we're going to dominate. We're going to take this game against the 2-seeded Rockets. They said, no, we got this. On the road in Houston, doesn't matter. You could have profited from that. You could have benefited there. You had a chance to win big money with FanDuel right now, as you can jump on all these second round series that are going on. All you got to do, just get on there, have a little intuition. You think somebody's going to have a good game? FanDuel is the place to be. If you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to fanduel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets. So make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back into a Locked On Hoosiers. Appreciate you being here, making this your go-to spot for all things Indiana Hoosiers. And if you're listening on audio or watching on the YouTube side with video, however you're here, appreciate you doing that. And if you're on audio, follow us, turn on notifications, send it to everybody you know. And if you're watching on YouTube, like the video, comment your thoughts down below about Davion Adkins, who's going to be visiting, and what we're about to talk about with the football post-spring top 25 from On3. And then if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, okay? And this is from On3, yes, but it's from Joel Klatt, who is with On3, or I guess he posted it. On3 posted it. They shared it. It's out on the social media thing. You can go and find it, okay? And it says it's the college football post-spring top 25, according to Joel Klatt. And I'll start by saying this. I don't have anything personally wrong with Joel Klatt. I don't know him, never met him, have nothing, no sort of relationship there. And I'm honestly just kind of indifferent in terms of what his takes have been throughout the years on college football. But if this top 25 is if it's anything close to this to start the season, I'm curious on where Indiana fans sit. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, we'll go through it here very quickly, okay? 1 through 25, just to make it very, very quick. Penn State 1, Texas 2, Ohio State 3, Oregon 4, Clemson at 5, very questionable. Notre Dame at 6, LSU 7, Georgia 8, Bama 9, Illinois at 10. I can't do it, man. I can't hop on that hype train, but a lot of people are. South Carolina at 11, Michigan at 12, even though they just had, did you see that announcement with Sharon Moore being suspended 2 games because of the Connor Stallion stuff? Wild. Florida at 13, BYU 14, ASU, that's Arizona State at 15, Kansas State 16, Iowa State 17, Miami at 18, Texas A&M 19, Ole Miss 20. Here you go. Indiana is at 21, according to Joel Klatt. Auburn at 22, Iowa at 23, so the last Big Ten squad. 24 is Baylor, and Oklahoma is 25. So let me go back through and kind of pick out what you need to know. Penn State is 1, Ohio State is 3, Oregon is 4, Illinois is 10, Michigan is 12, and Indiana at 21, and Iowa at 23. First of all, my initial reaction to that is great representation from the Big Ten. That is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 schools from the Big Ten represented in this post-spring top 25. I think all things considered, going into the season, the Big Ten as a whole would absolutely take something like that if this is what our first AP poll looks like and things like that, and whatever a college football playoff would look like in certain situations there. So I'm curious, though, on how you feel as an Indiana fan with the Hoosiers being 21st, according to Joel Klatt and On3, in post-spring top 25. I think it should be higher. I think the respect should be more, and has not been a secret on this channel. I've continuously said people are overlooking, underrating, and underwhelming what Indiana did a year ago, and what we could do to try and back that up and try to repeat the same level of success. But all things considered, sure, I think top 25 is fine. You have a new quarterback, yes. You have a lot of new pieces on the offensive line, sure. But you bring back so much talent. I can't get over the idea of all the talent you're bringing back on this roster. We did an episode yesterday about a new starting wide receiver from California, but he joins 2 of your returning receivers from a year ago, who I think are going to flirt with All-American status. Not to mention 2 All-Americans on the defense, another one with Kamara, who I think could absolutely get there, and all the transfers you brought in on that side of the football too. I don't know, man. I just think people have a bias about it, and they refuse to believe that it can happen again. That's the only thing I can wrap my head around is that people refuse to believe that Indiana can win football games again this year. And we're going to talk about the schedule based off of that top 25 coming up in the final segment, but overall, I'm fine with it. I look ahead though, or I guess look behind quickly with Iowa at 23. People are projecting them to be good. We had a conversation, an ongoing one on the Big Ten squad that we do every week. And Iowa is coming up, I think. And people are hyping them up. I don't see it. I don't have it. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in Illinois. I'm sorry. I don't. I know they've got a ton of returning talent. Brett Bielema has done an incredible job up there and deserves all the credit in the world. Maybe I'm just biased against Illinois being good. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm somebody that I'm criticizing who goes against Indiana. Maybe I'm one of those people that goes against Illinois. I don't know. I am in absolute 100% see it to believe it mode with the Fighting Illini. And if they end up being good, then awesome. Good for them. I'll eat my words there. But the fact is, you've got Penn State, who's the hottest team going into next season. You've got Ohio State and Oregon, who are clearly always going to be good. Michigan is kind of that team for me. I'm not completely sold, but I'm not unsold either. I'm not cashing in, but I'm not buying more, if that makes sense. Michigan, I'm just kind of like, well, let's just see where it goes. But Indiana has all the upside in the world. And outside of Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon, I truly believe, not just because this is an Indiana show, but just looking at rosters and, again, looking at the schedule like we will in just a few minutes, the upside is incredible here. It's incredible. And I think the expectation should reflect that. Should we expect another appearance in the college football playoff? I would say probably not. As an Indiana fan base who has gone through the hell that we've gone through forever, no, it's probably a little much to ask for that. But to control your own destiny going into November, I don't think that's too much to ask. I don't think that's a crazy idea. I don't think it's a big over the top request to say, hey, Indiana football, control your own destiny going into November. Have a say in what happens in the Big Ten championship and who makes it and who doesn't to the college football playoff. If you have that power with the schedule that we're going to go over it shortly, that's all you can do. I'm saying don't lose several games early and have the fan base check out. Don't give the outsiders ammunition against you early in the season. Don't allow them to poke fun and be like, oh, it was a fluke a year ago. This team's terrible. That's the Indiana we know. Don't give them that. And it seems like people are respecting us enough to put us in top 25s like this, but not enough to say, yeah, they can do it again. I'm in the category of I absolutely think we can do it again. It's going to take a little bit more this year because of the schedule and because of a change at quarterback, but the coach didn't change. The coaching staff didn't change. And the schedule is a little bit more difficult, but not by much. Not by much. And so all of those factors put into one, sure, we're 21st in the On3 Joel Klatt Pro Spring Top 25. That's fine. That means you've got 20 spots to climb. You have room to grow if you're Indiana. So let them overlook us. Let them underrate us. Let them underestimate what we can do. And it's Indiana against the world once more. It's Curt Cignetti, who's done nothing but win. You can Google him, Coach Sig, which is awesome. And let him go in as the underdog. He's been that his entire career. Everywhere he's been, they've been the underdog. He doesn't care. He doesn't. He is not concerned about it whatsoever. I'm not either, and you shouldn't be either. But in terms of that schedule, if these are anything close to the rankings that we'll have going into the season, I'm going to tell you what the schedule looks like, because a couple of tough road trips and big time games at Memorial, my goodness, it could be a fun season. We'll talk about that schedule in our final segment here on Locked On Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives businesses flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. If you need help with a marketing campaign, Upwork can connect you with a freelance expert who delivers incredible results and in a timely manner too. Instead of hiring full time, you can use Upwork to find affordable, top-tier freelancers to scale your business efficiently. Visit upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's upwork.com, upwork.com, to connect with top talent and grow your business today. Again, that's upwork.com. All right, final segment here on Locked On Hoosiers, and diving back into these On3 Joel Klatt post-spring top 25 rankings. You can find these on X. Just type in On3, scroll down to midday yesterday, I think, and you'll find it right there. And someone made a good point on X. Somebody pointed out that if this were to be anything close to a top 25 that we have going into the season, just basing it off of this top 25 alone, Indiana would play the number 23 team on the road. That's Iowa. You would host the number 10 team in Illinois in Bloomington. You'd play the fourth ranked team in the country, Oregon, on the road, and the number one ranked team in the country, Penn State, on the road. 3 top 25 games on the road, another top 10 game at home. Anybody want to talk about a strength of schedule? Anybody want to yell at the Hoosiers for who they play and who they don't? I don't think so. There's nothing to say. And going into the season, Penn State and Oregon are going to be top 5 teams. They're going to be top 5 teams for quite some time. And you start thinking about where you're going to get some of these teams. How about this? You're going to play 3 of these teams back to back to back. You're going to host Illinois, you're going to go to Iowa, and you're going to go to Eugene. So me having a little bit of, I wouldn't call it disrespect, but disbelief rather, in the Illinois Fighting Illini, we're going to have a great opportunity to do that September 20th in Bloomington, Indiana. Really looking forward to that game. So that's going to be your first big test, because remember, as I've told you, and I cannot stand it, you play all 3 of your cupcake games back to back to back. Oh, it's brutal, right? It's terrible. The fact that you don't play a real football game until September 20th when Illinois steps into your stadium. Now, it's cool because you get to play 4 straight home games, but you're going to pay for it down the road, and it is what it is. But I just hope that we are ready for what they're predicting to be a really good Illinois team, and you could start your Big Ten schedule with a nice win over the Fighting Illini. Then you go to Iowa, right? You're going to take on the Hawkeyes, who, according to On3 right now, are a top 25 team post-spring. You get a bye week before you go to Oregon, before you go to Eugene, and you take on the Ducks. And look, even with the talent that we have, with the coaching staff we have at that point in the season, that's a tall task. That's a big game. That's a huge opportunity, yes, but one that I'm not right now. I'm not going to ask us to win that game. I'm not going to expect us to win that game. If you do, my God, the sky's the limit. You're talking a big time playoff picture berth. You're talking a national title. I mean, you're talking big things. If you can go on the road and beat Oregon, you can beat anybody, in my opinion. And then you get a little bit of a break. You got Michigan State and UCLA and Maryland. Yeah, okay. But then you have to go to Happy Valley, to Penn State, who, according to this, is the number 1 team post-spring. They're the number 1 team in the country going into next year. You have to go to Oregon and to Penn State. I think it's a tall task to ask you to win either one of those games, because they're still more talented than you. And even if it's not on the starting front, it's in the depth. It's the second guys. It's the third guys. Heck, it's even the fourth guys as well that they just have on constant rotation in these big time programs. And so, all things considered, I think we should be happy that we're still getting top 25 recognition. But in terms of our schedule, it's going to be tougher. That didn't even include a team like Wisconsin, who could surprise some folks this year, or Maryland, or Michigan State, who could surprise folks this season. And so, I don't think there will be an argument on, did Indiana play a tough schedule? You go again to Oregon, to Penn State, and you host Illinois. You go to Iowa. You have to, you get Michigan State at home. Yeah, you do. You go to Maryland. You do get Wisconsin at home, which is pretty cool. So you do get some big home games. But if you want the respect, if you want to earn that, because I do believe that respect is earned, not given, and not asked for, go on the road and beat one of those two. If you go on the road and beat Oregon or Penn State, everybody will shut up. All the narratives will be done. They will be shut down. They will be done for good. There is nothing that you could say about Indiana and Curt Cignetti if you go on the road and beat Oregon and or Penn State. Am I predicting that? Absolutely not. Not right now. But I'm saying if you want the strength of schedule conversation to go away, that's the way to do it. And so will that be the rankings by the time you play all those teams? No, probably not. But it's fun to look at it and it's fun to talk about it. Indiana's getting some recognition. I think they deserve more, but shocker. Nothing new there about the Indiana Hoosiers, but how fun could that schedule be if those rankings do reflect at some point throughout the season? All right, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers. Thank you so much again for being here. Cannot stress how much I appreciate you, how much fun we're having. And I know we're getting slowly into the offseason, but we ain't going anywhere. This is your daily spot for Indiana news, Indiana reactions, Indiana fun on Locked On Hoosiers, okay? We are back tomorrow for another episode. So until then, Hoosier fans, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.